Hello everyone. Markets are shifting. The CAC 40 is down nearly 1%, S&P 500 down 2.12%. No new high today, as we've discussed. Might happen later though, we'll keep an eye on it. The Nasdaq's taking a real beating, down 3.26%. This is partly due to Nvidia dropping almost 10%. Nvidia's facing antitrust issues. Simply put, when a company dominates like this, often controlling 60, 70, even 75% of a market, this kind of scrutiny is inevitable. Nvidia is so valuable, they're facing dominance accusations in the GPU market. Often they'll have to sell assets, things like that, but it's also often a pretext to take profits. The Bank of Japan then said they'd slow rate hikes, but now they're back and risks remain. They might keep raising rates soon, which has caused markets to tumble. Next, we're anticipating XAI from Elon Musk to go live. Is it really that significant? Will it rival ChatGPT? We're eager to see how it turns out. The Hashrati is crucial for long-term crypto investors. Hashrati is a quiet, impressive force. It shows network strength, creating Bitcoin's value and appeal. Other projects benefit as Hashrati keeps climbing. The network's never been hacked, and it's getting more secure every day. Now, this is interesting. We shouldn't forget to take a look at Toncoin. Telegram's doing something incredible. Analysts say it and hamster combat will drive Web3 adoption. Gaming and other out-of-fashion sectors might bounce back. Telegram seems to be a catalyst for Web3 adoption. We've talked about this. Ripple's coming. It's wild. XRP's kind of a Bitcoin rival, a store of value and payment system, mainly focused on payments. But, like Bitcoin, it wasn't designed to be a layer 1 blockchain with smart contracts like ROM was, and they're adding them. I think this will obviously add more value to XRP. It's really great news. I'll follow up on this to see exactly where they're at, as I believe it could be quite positive for the token. As for Trump, I've been out of the loop for weeks, and I'll admit I'm a bit lost. He made some positive statements at one point, but it's become too much. I'm confused. His two sons suddenly became Web3 entrepreneurs, launching a blockchain, diving into DeFi, wanting to revolutionize banking. I find it a bit suspicious, to be honest. What I've been hearing lately is just too much. I find all this talk simply overwhelming. He launched projects, raised $2 million. A small amount, in my opinion. We'll keep following this. I believe it'll have an impact, especially on meme coins in the coming months. Don't forget, but looking ahead to 2025, the presidential elections, be it him or Kamala Harris, honestly, I think it'll have very little medium-term impact on crypto markets, except for some meme coins, as we said, which might bring a bit of craziness. We'll discuss that later. Also, it's starting soon, finally, because it's been dragging on. Polygon almost needs to answer for this delay as things seem stagnant and uncertain. They're launching Paul. I hope it'll bring new momentum. And the bad news about this migration, which I forgot to mention, is that the token, it has a max supply, but now it won't really have a max supply. We'll have a slight annual inflation of 2%. So that's bad news, but if the project takes off and does really well, it'll easily overcome this, but you should still know. For me, it's not good news, but that's just how it is. Today with Paul, Polygon Matic is a blockchain. Remember, with Paul, you'll get 2 blockchains for the price of 1, including the ZKVM blockchain they've invested in. I think big money, between 1 and 3 billion roughly. Imagine that. So it needs to be funded. There are validators and such, which is why their economic model has changed. Lastly, I'll finish with Solana, which rode the same CoinMania wave and did really well. I think what they've done is unique. They've released so many tokens that were hits and are worth billions today. It's quite impressive, but we see a total lack of interest in these same coins now. What's happening? The network activity and transactions are dropping completely. That's always the risk. It's a gamble. They bet big on these coins, but when they bounce back, I think it'll simply take off again. But it's interesting because at one point I started seeing lots of stats saying that over a day or week, Solana had more transactions than Ethereum. Aren't these just temporary spikes? In the long run, Ethereum will likely stay on top for quite some time, I think. Let's quickly look at the map. It's really ugly, honestly. As I often say, this stuff should be banned, but let's stay calm and keep our year-end outlook. We're in for a tough 15 days, but honestly, I love these phases. I prefer times with lots of events. It moves fast and makes decisions. Better than stagnating fake rises, drops, more fake rises, and bigger drops. At least now things will be decisive. 26 billion on Bitcoin isn't too shabby, and 11 billion on Ethereum. It's tough for Ethereum. Really, there's not much to say. You can spin it however you want. Ethereum ETFs are tricky below 2005, generally speaking. So far, the Ethereum ETF just gave Grayscale an exit for its clients. That's the real story of the Ethereum ETF right now. Even if BlackRock buys some, we've already accumulated between 1 and 2 billion, I think. So 58K on Bitcoin, nothing to say. Really, when there's nothing to say, we should... Well, there you go. We're still on moving averages acting as resistance. The only interesting thing is the 200-day. I'd like it to curve a bit to align with the 5100-200. There you have it. And so what's happening? What do you want us to analyze? It dropped within a range. Bear flag, as I mentioned. Now it's faking a bear flag. It's gone up. Will this confirm the bear flag? Either way, we'll see movement in the next 15 days. We'll keep tracking this. But for Flux, there's real movement happening. It's starting to take shape. Can you tell me what this is called? Head and shoulders, possibly inverted. Regardless of the pattern, we can see it's starting to turn around. We can see we're in a bearish phase now because we started here and we've fallen in this phase. Now we're starting to reach for higher and higher points. I'm not sure if this is called a crown in technical analysis, but I don't like this weird wick. Well, a bit strange, but then again, there you go. We'll keep watching, but it feels like there's a reversal pattern forming. Toncoin is getting really interesting now. There you have it. I told you below 5 it could be good to start accumulating. I think I'm going to add a small position. I don't have much liquidity, but I'm accumulating USDT, and I think I'll start with a small position in Toncoin, even though we can see it's completely giving way. How low will this drop go? There you go. We saw it around 4.20 here. I'd say around 4 here. There might be a potential support zone. If it keeps dropping, we'll see what happens. I'm starting small. If it keeps falling for weeks, I'll accumulate. Let's bet on Toncoin. We've seen it's huge what they're doing. Don't buy all at once. It can create tricky price patterns. We've seen the schedule for the next 2 weeks. Starting with Toncoin, we're at March price levels. Not bad given how much they've grown since March. Then there's Notcoin, the little brother. It's at an interesting level. It boomed before dropping. We're also at interesting levels here. Finally, Tau. Big hesitation zone, but it seems to be... It's not done yet. In chart analysis, don't predict the future. Let the chart reveal the pattern to us. But we're seeing a bit like on Flux, possibly the start of a head and shoulders pattern, even without the second shoulder. Maybe the beginning of something that could lead to reversals on TO. We'll watch this carefully given the current timeline. As for KDA, I realize I don't talk about it much, but it's similar. You can clearly see these are tokens. Right now, some are completely tanking, even Ethereum, for example. Yet KDA, I find it's looking quite nice. Then there's Ondo, which I'm watching like a vulture. How low will it go? It might be breaking down now. If it doesn't hold here in the 60 zone, it could get interesting, as it might drop below 50, around 40, 50 cents. That's a really intriguing area for me. Lastly, Casper seems close to breaking. We'll see if it bounces off its 100-day moving average or breaks through completely. Many tokens are breaking supports that should have held. If it breaks completely, we'll discuss it, but it could be interesting, especially under 13 cents. That's all from me. Have a great day. See you soon. Bye, everyone.